Hi, I'm Elise Mertens.
I'm Janis Kuda.
I'm Evgeny Donskoy.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I'm Peter Toretko, and you are listening to the Game to Love podcast.
And we're back, another live podcast, another day of the US Open officially over yesterday. And some very big players were really coming into form. We saw the big boys really showing up, which was great to see. Most notably, Dominic Thiem and Daniil Medvedev. What do you make of that?
Both looked really good and really strong. And I know you picked the last episode. You were talking about how you feel like Medvedev now is the strongest man left in the draw. And you think he stands a real chance. I think Thiem, the way he played against, in his last match, he looked incredible, especially them last two sets. He was really on fire.
Oh, well, it was just ridiculous, really. This was the match that we were sort of teeing ourselves up for, going like, whoa, Felix is now like in the form of his life. And we just showed the golfing class, really. This is a top 5 player versus somebody who's top 20. And it showed, didn't it? And that's exactly what we wanted to see from Thiem. This is the team that we actually love to watch. And he was there in abundance.
I think we've just been a bit too critical of Thiem, though. Do you not think? Because we're basing him off the fact that in Cincinnati he had a poor game against Krajinovic, who was playing out of his skin. And aside from that, he's not exactly lost any other matches. That's the only match. Even in all his exhibition matches, they don't count for nothing. We know that. Yeah, but he was killing them, beating everyone. I know he beat some really top players like Sinner, other top young players as well. So Thiem, we need to just put a bit more respect on Thiem's name in the fact that he's only had this one down game, to be fair to him. And we've kind of written him off, really, based off that. I don't think we should be doing that. But for me, I feel like it's good that he seems full of confidence in himself. The way he was playing in the final 2 sets against Felix, it was the Dominic Thiem we was expecting to be seeing in Cincinnati. But he's arrived on the scene now, and he is definitely the one to beat alongside, say, Medvedev, I would say, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I totally agree. And like you said, people just overlooking him because of one bad result.
Well, we were a little bit. We don't talk about him. And we've not really spoke about him the last 3 or 4 podcasts, have we?
We were waiting to see him sort of come to life. And I thought something quite interesting that Daniil Medvedev was talking about in one of his interviews. I think it was the interview after the TFO or demolition, let's call it. He said he'd much rather start like slow and poorly and get better and better and better as the tournament progresses to play his best tennis at the end than he would come into the tournament playing his best, because there's nowhere really to go from there, and you sort of burn yourself out a bit quicker as well. So we're seeing it from these are the 2 top dogs now, the ones to beat, and they're coming to form just at the right time. This is crunch time now.
Yeah, just a quick shout out to Lamb. He's in the chat. We love a bit of Lamb. I know you was messaging him on Instagram earlier.
That's
it. It's good to see our loyal fans watching. Hope you're well, mate. But yeah, like you said, Thiem and Medvedev, they're the big dogs left in it. But I was looking at the ages, actually, before this podcast. It was really interesting to see. There's so many young guys left in this tournament, isn't there? I think the 2 old ones are Carina Busta and Dominic Thiem. They're both 28, which isn't exactly old. That's the prime, really, isn't it? That's your prime of your career. And then all the guys below, you've got a range, really. You've got the average, probably like 23.
Yeah, I'd say so.
It's a young field left in it. Obviously, no one's won a slam before. You've got 2 finalists in Thiem and Medvedev. They've reached the furthest before. I think Zverev's got to a semi in Australian Open. Yeah. It's just super exciting now. We're going to have a new Grand Slam winner. But the question what we want to know is, who do we think is going to win it now? Because based off what we saw, I don't know if you want to. Should we go through some of the results?
What do you mean, the fixtures or the results?
Yeah, it's just some of the previous results from the last round.
All right, yeah, sure, let's do it. Okay, we can just have a look down here. Obviously we had. Do you want to be looking at Zverev?
We've spoken. No, let's go down to Berrettini's. Let's go have a look at we've done the other ones, haven't we?
Well,
let's look at these 4 at the bottom.
Well, this one right here, crazy match yesterday. We both got it wrong. Hands up. Rublev, who is the one thing I said that he couldn't do, which was perform against these big hitters, and proved me wrong. I'm the curse. I cursed Berrettini out of the competition by the looks of it, and he was playing some fantastic tennis, Andrei Rublev, yesterday.
Nah, Rublev was incredible, man.
Back to the form that we saw at the beginning of the year, where he took those 2 titles. And something really funny, I don't know if you saw it during the match, he actually managed to take, I believe it was the second set with a broken string in the winning rally. He broke his string, continued the whole rally, and still won the set. Which
I think the string wasn't in the center, was it? It was just towards the edge, because otherwise you just.
I think it broke though. I think it actually broke.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry.
I know.
I don't know how he managed that.
Continued for about 6 shots after that.
But for me, my bit of analysis of that match really was Berrettini's serve wasn't really firing like it was in the match prior, in the game prior against Casper Ruud. Like, he just looked a lot more powerful. He was a bit more commanding with his first serve. He was getting it in a lot more, and that is the difference really at this level. You need to be at the top of your game at the slam events, because all the players there are so quality, and they'll just pick you off. And Berrettini's first serve wasn't really getting in, and against Zverev, if you have hitting second serves against him, he's the type of guy who'll just be able to sort of hit the lines and just pick you apart, really. And that's what happened in that match.
Any of these guys, like Rublev, is somebody who'll do it to you, because you know how well he drills and how hard he hits the ball as well. But it's not going to get any easier against Daniil Medvedev in the next round. I mean, obviously that's who Berrettini would have faced, and I don't think that
the all Russian affair.
Yeah, it is. That's quite an exciting one. Means if you're a Russian, fan of Russian tennis, guaranteed semi-finalist now for you, which is great for Russian tennis. And I'm sure they'll probably be cheering on Medvedev, I would have thought. I don't know. I reckon they probably would think he has the best chance, being that he made the final last year with those 5 sets with Rafa. And I wouldn't put it past him doing it again. But
I love Medvedev. Do you remember you see the clip last year of him when he was the fans were like booing him at the US Open?
Yeah, I know.
And really getting on his back, and he was just saying, "Keep it coming, like just egging him on." And then he just used that in the end to get all the way to the final and almost won it, really. If it wasn't for Rafael Nadal playing some ridiculous stuff.
And I think that's the key that he sort of had, is he's a very level-headed player, and he doesn't really show emotion much. Some of the other players, they're notably frustrated. We saw it again in this match between Thiem and Felix. Felix starts throwing his toys out the pram a little bit when Thiem's literally just beating him fair and square, and he's looking up at his box. It's like it's someone else's fault. It's not my fault, really, that I'm losing this match. And it's not. It's just Thiem's too good. And you're not at that level yet, unfortunately. You're good, but you're just not quite there yet. And it will come. He's 20 years old. So I just think with these type of people, like we've obviously seen Medvedev, such a strong competitor, we need to be holding these players in much higher regard than we already had earlier in the tournament. I mean, because Medvedev hadn't played any tennis, we thought he might be rusty. Not rusty at all, is he?
No.
And Thiem, he's got a big test in the next round. Obviously, he's going to be playing ADM. It's going to be tough. But what do you think on that match? Do you think he's got too much for ADM?
I don't know. It's really tricky when you get to these latter stages of the slam. I feel like the way Thiem was playing in them latter 2 sets, I think he will have a bit too much for ADM. But yet again, ADM's really impressed me in this tournament. He's played some brilliant stuff. And to be beating Pospisil, I don't know if you want to go back to that one, just scroll to the left a little.
Yeah.
That was a proper match. That was epic. And I feel like that was settled in the first set. It was one of them matches where the first set was going to be key. And Pospisil, if I'm not mistaken, I think he was up 5-2 or something in the tie break.
Yeah.
That first set.
It really sort of, wouldn't even say threw it away. I would say Alex de Minaur, he doesn't get phased by those sort of situations. I think
he's very calm, isn't he, under pressure?
4 set points he saved.
Yeah.
Yeah, just took the set. He won, I think it was 6 points in a row, and just took the set.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember
Calm,
that. Yeah.
calm as you like, and that's what you want to see. That's a very good sign moving forward. And is it enough to take him past Dominic Thiem? I'm not so sure. The way that Thiem was hitting the ball, I think anybody, I don't know who, Medvedev might even struggle to get close to some of those backhands that he was firing, and especially that match point one. Oh, what a way to win a match! That was incredible. That's
No, I saw that.
that's the way you want to win the title. Though, none of those sort of backhands, isn't it? Literally just fired it and just was like, "Thanks very much. See you later."
Well, we've got Frank in the comments. He fancies Medvedev for the tournament. He thinks he's the favourite. I know that's you probably agree with that as well. But Thiem, you can't write him off, man. He's got more experience, I would say, in these situations. He's obviously been a bit unfortunate, really, to be coming up against the top 3 every year. But this time, in theory, he should fancy himself. And I saw him come out in an interview after the match against Felix. And what he said was that he fancies himself, Zverev, and Medvedev. For him, he feels like they're the 3 favourites, and he's saying that himself about it. So it just shows that he does have an air of confidence about him, but he should do, because at the end of the day, he's been there, done that a lot more than the other people left in the draw, and he needs to show that a bit of maturity now, because Thiem's always been talked about as this young guy coming through. He's not that really. He's not a young guy coming through anymore. He's been there, done that, and he's been playing at this level for a long time. He's already got to semi-finals and finals, and now is his time to really make a mark on it and step up and win. And then after that, he's going to have to try and do the same with one of the big 3 in it, which is not going to be easy, but it might give him more confidence if he can get a slam under his belt to then go against one of the big 3 in the next few slams and actually take it.
I think something quite interesting. I was doing a little bit of research before we came on, just tried to squeeze it in, and I did up a little table just to show some of the head-to-heads, like of the people that are left in the tournament, and some very interesting reading. If I'd have seen this before this had happened, then I probably would have been shying towards somebody else maybe winning the tournament. If you have a look,
mate, it's El Chapo, isn't it?
No, if you
like my one.
If you read this going across, you'll have a look. All the greens down the bottom there. Dominic Thiem has a winning head-to-head against every single person left in the competition, and got to give him a lot of confidence going into the next round, really. So, and he's not going to be shying away from anybody, even Medvedev. He's even got a 2-1 record against him.
Yeah, but looking at that now, initial glance, Zverev seems to have quite a good record as well.
Yeah,
there's a lot of green there.
Except against Thiem, who he's lost to, 7 times. So that's what I mean. It's very crazy. I was trying to knock up another quick one of show what it was on hard court as well, because I know that that's obviously, this is all the different surfaces.
That's really interesting, Ben. I'm glad you shared that, to be fair. And it does look like, based off that Thiem, based off the head-to-head, that's why he come out, and he must feel confident in himself, because he knows who he's played in the past. He knows he's beat these players before. It's just whether he can do it on the big occasion at a big slam. Exactly. And that's when it actually matters. But for me, I feel like these stats do go out the window a little bit, because this is because this is a different type of situation. For a start, it's not even a normal US Open. It's a US Open in a bubble, which they're playing, which is a bit weird to start off with. And aside from that, they then got to deal with the fact that there will be bundles of pressure sort of piled on them, not from all the fans watching, because they probably don't get to see them, but from themselves. They must put a lot of pressure and momentum on themselves to be winning these matches. And Thiem, really, but looking at that, he should be getting at least to the final, you'd think. But I know he's playing Alex de Minaur next, and his record's not too bad, is it, against some of the other guys?
But that's what I mean. He's definitely very good player on hard court, especially. But you just never know. It's just whoever plays one day. Obviously, these are all old statistics. Well, they're all from the past. You don't know how well the people are going to be playing. You look at Shapovalov when he played Australian Open. This is a completely different Shapovalov this time. It's barely recognizable to that person. So
great.
And Shapovalov, look, he's beaten Rublev. He's beaten Medvedev. He's got the winning record against both of them. So if you just don't know, do you? And against Zverev, he's 2-2.
I think you've got to look at the draw though as well. The draw is important. I don't know if you want to get the draw up because that's
sure.
That's a good indication to kind of see. Oh, there you go. Nice. That's a good indication to kind of see who's going to be playing who. Obviously, we've not spoke about Buster there. Was Buster even on that graph?
Yeah, he's on there, mate. I know he's one of those.
There's probably too much red. I wasn't really looking
Buster
at him.
has a winning record against Shapovalov, who he plays next, and he has a winning record against Alex de Minaur. But all the rest,
yeah, because in theory he's the other kind of experienced player, and being he's 28 as well. However, he's not really. This is the furthest he's been at a slam.
I would say
he's never really reached them heights, but he's mate. I wouldn't put it past. You never know really in this sport, man. And Buster's.
I wouldn't say him. I wouldn't. I would say no for Buster, but I would say someone you should keep your eye on, and no one's talking about them. And he beat Stefanos Tsitsipas in 5. Is Borna Coric, and Coric has got a winning record against 4 of these remaining 7 people in there, and I believe he even has, he has a good record against Dominic Thiem as well. So if he was to come up against him, you'd probably fancy his chances. He's got a winning record against Medvedev. This is what I mean. This person's being overlooked a lot. He's got a winning record against Zverev. Imagine if he comes up against these are the 3 of the biggest ones, and he's got sort of pretty good records against all 3.
I like Shapovalov still to win it.
Yeah, you would. This is
because
nice
if you look at the draw, he just looks like he's just I don't know. I feel like he's got a really good chance against Buster, and then aside from that, the game after he's avoiding some of the bigger guys, isn't he, until the final?
Yeah. Well,
so that's the only reason I'm basing it off because he's on the other side, so he gets to avoid Medvedev and Thiem. Granted, he still have to probably play either Zverev or Coric, which probably would be Zverev. But still, it's still tough. But I think Shapovalov can do it, man. I really do believe in him. And this is his tournament. Definitely. And when you get into a final, anything can happen in a final. Unless you're Novak, and then you end up winning it.
Shapovalov Thiem final, maybe the battle of the backhands. That would be an interesting one.
Yeah, no, that would be, to be fair.
But yeah, I mean, we didn't really touch on too much Medvedev and his impressive performance against Francis Tiafoe. I mean, Tiafoe making it through to the 4th round, and you thought, whoa, we've just seen some of the best tennis we've ever seen from Francis Tiafoe. And it was like different class. It was like
Tiafoe wasn't good at all. He wasn't good. Medvedev, that's the thing why I don't want to rate Medvedev too highly. Granted, he played really well, but he just looked like Tiafoe had run his race. I think he looked beat when he come out, to be fair. And he didn't really offer much, did he, on court?
No,
I don't want to be too harsh on him because he had a brilliant tournament. I don't think he would have expected to get as far as he did.
No, true. I mean, just to win it in the fashion that he did, maybe it was a bit of both sides.
I think it was. I think Medvedev was playing well, but then TFO was not playing very well at all.
Yeah, it was a bit sad to see, really. Just see him. He'd worked so hard to get this far in the tournament, and then just to limp out like 6-1, 6-love, and it just seemed like his body language was all completely gone in that last set. And Medvedev, easy day at the office for him.
Well,
he's fresh for the next round now. Yeah.
Well, something I want to talk about, a little bit off topic, but it's about Djokovic. I don't know if you've seen. Have you seen he's come out today and had to condemn some of the fans, a lot of predominantly Djokovic fans who are taking the whole thing about him getting disqualified a bit out of hand. And there's been a lot of incidents I've seen. I've not specifically seen what's been said, but different journalists have been reporting it. And Djokovic had to come out himself and say, just stop giving this lady hate, the line judge. Because she's getting... that. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Like, why are they getting to this level where they feel the need to just be abusing her? She's the one who's been hit in the neck.
I know.
There's arguments saying that she's maybe exaggerated it a little bit, but at the end of the day, just doesn't warrant that behaviour of giving her death threats and all this like attacking sort of language. It's just not on, really. I just don't like it. It's a bit unneeded, isn't it?
Well, definitely. It's just sad to see. Now we've got day and age where there's so much social media presence that somebody can now be found and attacked in this nature.
Well, that's the thing, mate. It's because of social
nothing.
media. It's so easy to do it now.
But what's she done? All she
But
did was get a job.
We should give Novak some praise, though. I think he's handled it quite well. At least he's come out and condemned it and actually made a positive stance on it. And then I've also seen news about his fine. It's going to be about $260,000, which is quite a bit. And
the US Open, are the US Open to blame? Are they used for having line judges in the first place? Because there's only line judges on one court.
No, but that's not the right attitude, is it, though, Ben, to be saying that? Because there is line judges, and in the normal circumstances, there would be line judges.
Maybe
so it still means you shouldn't be doing that regardless.
Maybe there's a case for having no line judges now then.
What, in this tournament?
No, in general. Just to minimise the fact that players are going to throw tantrums all the time and start hitting people, like with brackets and... Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like Lamb said, it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary to be swearing at this lady or to send her death threats. I heard that type of thing.
Yeah.
It's just that's just you're taking them out of the firing line as well. I mean, the only person that can get in the firing line is the umpire, then, and they probably have enough stick as it is.
I'll tell you what, an interesting perspective on this whole thing, though. I don't know if you've seen Ryan Harrison's tweet. He come out. He didn't want to get too much in the fact that he's sticking up for Djokovic or anything, but in the whole, this is what his idea was. He's saying that tennis needs a rechange. It needs like a rejig around. At the moment, like we've spoke about, something that we're not really getting as many fans involved in tennis as what we should be, or what it was prior in the past. And a lot of that is the fact that players are sort of brainwashed to be like robots on court, and they're brainwashed to play in a certain way. They're not allowed to show any emotion. They need to play in just his robotic nature, and anything else, like showing emotions, that's frustration or happiness or joy, can be deemed as offensive and not allowed, basically. But would it not be better to sort of change that around a bit and just have less restrictions, less rules, and a lot more sort of loose style of what's the word for it, Ben? Like just a more relaxed environment to play tennis in. So basically, you can have fans engaging with the people in the stands. You can have a lot more of boundaries sort of broken between fans and players and coaches, and just make it more of a sport for all, rather than it being very strict and sort of old-fashioned. And I understand where he's coming from in it, and it could do with something like that. I know they've tried to do it more in the UTS.
Oh, you still there? Lost you. Well, I'm not sure where JG's gone. He's, I think his connection may have stopped there for a second. But yeah, I sort of totally agree with JG. I think it could be just need to revamp the sport, to be honest. I don't know why there hasn't been more people looking into this. I know we spoke to Danilo Petrovic on one of the previous podcasts that we had, and he was very vocal in saying that he really wanted changes, and he'd been doing a lot of research on the ATP, and he'd been actually really wanting a lot of changes, not just in pay structure, but in just changes for players to make it better for the players, because they're on tour all year round and they're under a lot of stress all year round. They don't have time to really think about implementing new things in the sport, and this is something which the actual organizers, they need to be the ones to do it, because the players themselves, they're overworked as it is, and they're traveling all the time. They can't be held responsible for it. So I mean,
sorry about that. I'm back. I don't know what happened with my internet.
Yeah, sorry. I was just saying about the Danilo Petrovic interview. He was very vocal on his stance on the fact that players, there's not enough done for them. Maybe there does need to be a lot more changes in the game. Oh, we lost you again. But yeah, I think he's totally right, though, to be honest. I mean, what changes could be made, though? I think that's the one thing that we really need to look at. Is it a change in the format of the sport? Do we really need like the format of tennis changing? I mean, I think the scoring systems, all of this sort of thing is fine. I think maybe the main thing that we just need to look at is just yeah, bridging the gap between the fans and the players, and just there to be more interaction, more like possibility for players and fans to actually interact in a nicer way, though, because at the moment there's just too much hatred with too much social media presence, and it's pretty disgusting.
Things can change for sure, because I think we need to see more of a happy medium. But I don't want to take this away from the fact that we still don't think what Djokovic did was correct. He should be penalised. He should have been disqualified from the US Open. That is the rules which are right now, and that's what we have to follow. However, moving forward, maybe we could have a bit more of a relaxed sort of stance on tennis the way it is, and just have a bit more just everything a little bit more open.
Well, definitely. I think that's all we can hope for. Shall we move on to the women's draw? Because I know that we've spoken quite a lot about the men's.
Yeah, let's do it, mate.
I know that we're pretty passionate about this women's draw this year, because it's been super exciting, and one of the most exciting since I can remember, really. I mean, there's been so many crazy stories going through this, and one of the main ones, which I know that we've been talking about over the past week, is Svetana Brancova, who has made it through yet again, and quite an amazing performance against Elise Mertens. I watched the full match. I was fully invested in this.
I was watching it too. It's a bit emotional, in fact. Do you not think?
It was brilliant. I was just so shocked. She looks. This is her first tournament in 3 years. She hasn't played a tournament, and she's come back and she's starting the US Open. And what a tournament! She looks great, but I thought she was looking a bit fatigued in the second set. She had a match point. It sort of got away from her. She missed 2 really easy volleys on top of the net, which could have got her like another match point, and then she was broken, lost the tie break. But to show that, and she was looking tired. She was struggling. She wasn't even chasing down the balls anymore. And you just thought, oh no, Cornet is going to take over.
Well, she said it in the interview. Did you see her interview after the match? She literally was saying that going into the third set, she felt completely finished. Like she didn't have, her body was giving up. She had nothing left in the tank. And her game plan was just short rallies, get the points over with quickly. We don't want any of these like long running distance, like running from side to side, long rallies. Just wanted quick points, winners, and get it over and done with. And that's what she did, because she was incredible, and just fair play to her, man. What a story it's been. I know the beginning of the thing, there was only 9 mothers who entered the tournament this year. And there's 3 left. Funny enough, we've got Serena, Azarenko, and obviously Brancova. So yeah, the three mothers, I'm cheering them on all the way. But one's going to be knocked out in the next round, because we've got Brancova facing off against Serena.
Oh. And what can we do? We're going to have to lose one. And sorry to say, Serena, I don't want you to be the one that goes through. I want Brancova. This is such a great story. We want it to see it through to the end. I mean, she will, if she goes through, I believe. Let's bring the draw up quickly for the women's, if we can. Yeah. It's a really tough match for Azarenko in the next round. But we got down that bottom end of the draw. Azarenko against Elise Mertens. Azarenko made it through. I believe it was in 3 sets. Oh, just 1 second. Yeah, I believe it was in 3. Yeah, it was. Yeah, she lost the first set against Muchova and showed the strength and character to come back again. Amazing. And the other match, look who's there. Elise Mertens just beat Sofia Kenin in straight sets, and you said it,
mate. I called it. I did fancy Elise Mertens. Obviously, Kenin's she's the champion of the Australian Open, but Mertens has played so much tennis lately, and she's just really impressed me. And we know how physical she is, very powerful as well, and just proved a bit too much for Kenin, to be fair.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that sets up an exciting match now with Azarenko Mertens. And that is where I feel like this is where it's a big test for Azarenko. and maybe a bridge
Massive.
too far, but I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't think you can write Azarenko off the fact that she's just won. She's on such a winning streak. I don't know how many games it is, but she's won quite a few games in a row now.
Oh,
and
she's won. Well, she had the whole of Cincinnati, and I think there was a couple of games before there as well.
Yeah, so she's the informed girl on tour right now. But there's another one who's also very much in form. Well, another two really, and one's playing right now. I'm not sure if it's probably finished actually. I know she was playing when I started the podcast.
Yeah, it's just
that's Jennifer Brady.
Very quick as well. She's dispatched, put in saver 6-3, 6-2. So this one is now finished, and she's going to meet the winner of Osaka versus Shelby Rogers, which is a very exciting match. So we have our first semi-finalist, Jen Brady, and she's been playing the best tennis of her career, that's for sure.
I do want Osaka to go through though, purely because I think Osaka Brady will be the better matchup. That will be a more exciting match, wouldn't it? For sure.
We could potentially have 3 Americans in the semi-finals here, which would be absolutely crazy.
Yeah, well, to be fair, there's so many, isn't there, on the women's tour? There's a lot of top-seeded American players. We've obviously seen a few go out, but it's still got Serena in there. No one's ever talking about Serena to actually win it, are they?
Her result against Sakari was really, really good. She looks like she's struggling around the court a little bit, just because, I don't know, she's obviously just the age and playing these young, really powerful players. Sakari managed to grab that second set, and she somehow did the same as Brancova, came back and managed to grab the last set, 6-3. So they're both coming back off the back of great comebacks in the third set. Yeah,
my only concern now with the Brancova-Serena match is whether she's just a bit too tired. Like she said in the interview afterwards, she is just, I don't know if you watched it, she actually broke down and cried. They started talking about her family and her child, and it was just the emotions just kind of got to her. She battled so hard on court, and to be doing that, all she was saying that she wants to go into her ice bath and have a nice massage now. But then you've not really got much rest because you're going to be playing Serena Williams in a few days' time, and that is just going to be ridiculously hard. One thing which I want to respect on the women's tour is the new rule they implemented a few years back about how if you're pregnant as a woman and you're having a baby soon, you're able to have a protected ranking. So when you return, you're able to come back and play at the top level again, which is a really good incentive for women across the tour to go and live their life, as we say, but then still have tennis as well, because tennis is a big part of their life to be getting to the stage they're at. And for me, Brancova, I actually find her whole brand of tennis really exciting to watch as well. I noticed that in that final set when she was pushed to be playing more attacking, I thought it was really exciting. And I probably found that more exciting than all the rest because you could see the determination and how much she was giving each ball. And I feel like that's just what you want to see in tennis, isn't it? You want people, you want characters there who you see on court, they're giving their all. They're not just going through the motions. They're not just technically brilliant players who are just there because they're getting paid to be there. But she was there because she looked like she wanted that trophy. And for me, that's brilliant to see. But Serena's not going to. I don't think Serena's going to bend over and make it easy for her.
No, she won't. But strange things keep happening in the tennis world, so you never know. Hopefully, nothing too weird happens. But we just want to see an amazing match of tennis. We don't want to see any more Djokovic incidents. Especially not in the women's side as well.
No, we don't need that.
It'd be even more shocking somehow. It always seems to be in the men's side, doesn't it? All these incidents.
Yeah, I know, it's true. I don't know. There was the Serena one, wasn't there, with the umpire? That wasn't too long ago, and that was that received a lot of criticism. To be fair.
Yeah, it's never normally violent acts from the women's side. That's what I mean. There's never normally people smacking balls at people or smashing. There's not as many racket smashes in the women's side. Well, I don't think anyway. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching the podcast, and thanks everybody who's listening as well. If you're enjoying all of our podcasts that we keep putting out daily, please don't forget, please like our videos and please subscribe to the channel. Share it with your friends. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. So yeah, if you can go on to these streaming sites and then just give us like a 5-star review and just give us some positive feedback, it's all really appreciated. I mean, we're doing this for the fans. We're massive fans of tennis ourselves, so it's just something, yeah, that mean the world to us. So yeah, we're on all the available platforms, and yeah, just share it with everybody you know who loves tennis.
Yeah, this has been a bit of disaster for me. I'm not sure what happened with my internet today. This is just ridiculous. But anyway, it happens sometimes with the lives. I think it's crashed my computer. There's too much. I'm streaming too much at once. So sorry about that, guys. Hopefully, I'll get this fixed for the next one. Did you want to wrap it up there, Ben?
Yeah, I was just telling everybody, just to subscribe and just appreciate everybody who just keeps on helping us on the journey. Hopefully, this will all calm down eventually soon. We just want the world to get back to normal, because then we'll be heading to Europe, heading to challenger events, heading to some ATP events, and just giving you some amazing content and speaking to a lot of the players from these events. So we just can't wait for it to get back, and we'll just be able to give you amazing content, more than just us sitting in these rooms.
And in the present, some exciting stuff we will be doing soon is we're going to be live streaming the final, our reaction. Hopefully I'll fix my internet for that day.
Yeah, hopefully he fixes his internet for that day. But it's still not working right now. But yeah, hopefully he fixes his internet for that episode, because it'll probably be a 3, 4, 5 hour classic. So make sure you join us again tomorrow. We're going to be giving you some updates. I know that there's Borna Coric is just starting now playing. So we're going to be giving you some updates on that match tomorrow. And then we'll probably be doing it during one of the matches, which is playing tomorrow. So we've got Zverev Coric that's starting now, and Carreño Busta and Shapovalov will be overnight. So we'll bring you an update on that. And yeah, Dimonor Thiem and Rublev Medvedev. So we got that exciting matches tomorrow. So yeah, we'll bring you all the updates, and thanks everybody for watching. Catch you on the next one.